Chris Hanson just revealed that he has contacted the FBI regarding Onision and Kai and their alleged young female victims. And he says that there is a good chance that there will be a criminal investigation by the FBI into Onision and Onision's spouse, Kai. Chris Hanson revealed this on his most recent stream on his YouTube channel, Have a Seat with Chris Hanson, in which he did an interview with one of Onision's alleged victims, Billy. Billy, if you don't know, is the one who Onision wanted to chain up in his basement for 7 days. I did a video on that. You can check out that video for more information. She didn't really talk about that situation that much in this particular interview. But if you don't know, Chris Hanson has recently been going after Onision, and the past 5 streams he has done have all been interviews with people talking about Onision. The first 2 interviews were with Blair White and Repsion, but perhaps the most interesting have been the past 3 interviews where Chris Hanson has interviewed Onision's alleged victims. And at the very end of this stream, Chris Hanson revealed that he has, in fact, contacted the FBI over Onision.
I did have a conversation with the FBI yesterday. A little bit of breaking news here. And obviously there is evidence that some of the young women have that could very well be of interest to investigators. So there is a very good chance that there's going to be a criminal investigation here.
And Chris Hanson did make it clear that it's not so much that Onision would be investigated for having sex with people under the age of consent. The age of consent in Washington state is 16. So far, neither Onision or Kai have been accused of having sex with someone under the age of consent. Instead, Onision or Kai could be in trouble for enticing people under the age of 18 to send them sexually explicit pictures. Even in states where the age of consent is below 18, it's still a crime to induce people under the age of 18 to produce sexually explicit pictures or videos of themselves.
Even though Greg, Jackson, Onision, Kai apparently were very careful about ages in terms of having young women visit, sexual relations, and everything else, what many people in these cases don't know, don't think about, aren't aware of, is that the transmission of sexually explicit pictures of people younger than 18 is a federal crime. It can either be enticement, it can be the transmission of child pornography. It is a penalty which carries a sentence of 10 years per image.
There has been something of a renewed interest in Onision and this whole situation ever since recently Sarah, a girl who had been living with Onision when she was 16, came out and said that Onision did have sex with her when she was 18. Sarah has been interviewed on Chris Hanson's YouTube channel, Have a Seat with Chris Hanson, but before she did the Chris Hanson interview, she did an interview with Blair White. Now, for some reason, I don't know why, Blair White actually did say at the beginning of her video that it doesn't look like Onision broke any laws in this situation. But like Chris Hanson said, although it doesn't look like Kai or Onision had broken any laws when it comes to age of consent, it does seem like, at least if Sarah is telling the truth, they might very well have broken the laws when it comes to having Sarah send Kai sexually explicit photos. Sarah did tell Blair White that Kai would send nude photos of himself to Sarah, and that Sarah did at least once send Kai a topless photo of herself.
Basically, Kai was taking selfies, and he sent me a few of the selfies, and one of them, he didn't have any bottoms on, but he had a shirt on, and one of them, like, his entire, like, private was in the picture. There was at least one picture that I had sent of me when I was 15, topless.
I want to point out that Kai was born female. Kai later identified as non-binary, and now Kai identifies as male. But back when this happened, when Sarah was 15, That was back when Kai was either identifying as female or non-binary. I also want to point out that not only is child pornography illegal, but child grooming is illegal, and it's both a federal crime and also a crime in Washington state. Now, the issue about anti-child grooming laws is some of the behavior that could be child grooming could also be behavior that is not really child grooming. Like, for example, giving a gift to a minor. That could be child grooming, but on the other hand, if somebody gives a gift to their niece or nephew on their birthday, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's child grooming. So the issue with child grooming laws is it does come down to what the intent behind the action was. But it really looks like, if a lot of these people are telling the truth, that the intention behind Onision and Kai's actions were actually pretty nefarious, and they could be in trouble for child grooming as well. Doing things like sending nude photos to a minor, like Kai allegedly has done, hoping to entice them to send you a nude photo back, like Sarah said she did do with Kai back when she was 15, is the kind of thing that could be not only considered enticement of child pornography, but also child grooming, since enticing a child to send you sexually explicit pictures, even if you aren't going to have sex with that person, could be illegal if you're enticing them, like I said, to send you sexually explicit images. Onision, for his part, has been rather cavalier about this whole situation. I don't know, and I don't claim to know, what is going on inside of Onision's mind, but from the way he has been behaving, it's almost like he doesn't really believe that anything bad is going to happen to him over this. He has been making a lot of tweets lately that, if you look at his Twitter, a lot of these tweets that he's been making lately are actually kind of gross. He's been making a lot of sexually explicit tweets from the role of a sexual dom. I could understand doing that to some extent, and I do believe that he has made tweets like this in the past, but recently he's been making a whole lot of them, and a lot of them are rather disturbing. You can go to his Twitter and see what I mean. I don't want to put them in this video. I don't know why you would be doing that when you are openly being investigated by Chris Hanson and are apparently being investigated by the FBI. Now, he did actually post a link to a recent live stream he had, a live stream where he was playing video games and talking to some of his Patreons on Discord, and he actually did talk about how Chris Hanson has apparently called the FBI on him. He did mention that the FBI is allegedly investigating him, although he said he doesn't really know if he believes that, since he doesn't really know what to believe anymore. And he basically reiterated that he doesn't think that he's going to be in trouble because, well, none of these people were below the age of consent when he had sex with them. But like I said, and like Chris Hanson said, that is not what he or Kai would be investigated for. Like Chris Hanson said, the FBI would be interested because it looks like it's possible that he or Kai, or both of them, enticed a minor to send them sexually explicit images. And according to Chris Hanson, there is a strong possibility that the FBI is either doing or going to do a criminal investigation into this matter. Chris Hanson also said that he would keep the audience posted. And like I said, they could also be on the hook for possibly breaking child grooming laws. Now, I don't know if Onision is in reality actually worried about this and is just trying to give off the impression that he's not really worried about this, or if he is actually not really worried about this. Like I said, I don't know what Onision is thinking. It will be interesting to see how this whole situation pans out. So far, YouTube has not actually done anything to sanction Onision, but it's quite possible they would if this ends up getting more publicity. Although this situation has gotten attention from people like Chris Hanson, it hasn't gotten as much mainstream media attention as the, say, Logan Paul Japanese forest situation did. If it does get more publicity in the future, or if Onision or Kai are convicted of something related to this whole situation, then they might also do something to sanction them. Thanks very much to my Patreon producer, Lena, aka Lollipop, and my Patreon associate producer, Jammy Joy. So if you like this video, go ahead and give it a like, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, click the bell icon for notifications, and together we shall take over the world. You can also catch me on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter at Zorkmid123.